Hello, hello. Good evening. Good evening, good evening. Welcome. Welcome here. Glad you could join us here tonight. Thank you for being a part of this special evening, a part of this special place. I know many of you. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Zach Bodner. I'm the president and CEO here at the Oshman Family JCC. Welcome. This is, yes, we have an incredible event. I'm mostly impressed that you guys were able to pull this off with like 72 hours notice. We had this tremendous opportunity that came to us, so we said, we have to say yes, even though it's not necessarily going to be that convenient for you. But this is what our people do. You know Rabbi Amitai Freeman, the director of Z3. You know Ronit Jacobs, the director of ICC. Let's give them a hand for what they have built here. Something really special and unique. And their teams have done an incredible job of moving mountains to make tonight possible. But I also know there's some angst, some tsuris in our community tonight. I'm going to get up here. We're going to do some yoga stretches and some deep breathing. No, I mean, I could. This is Northern California. But I know what happened in Santana Row this weekend is causing some people some angst. I know these letters going around Stanford. I know that many of us have family and friends in Israel who are in and out of shelters every single day. My own son is in Israel right now, so not sleeping much, taking our anxiety meds, doing the meditations, doing the yoga. But one of the antidotes to this is being in community. It's coming together in moments like this. It's not a solution, but it's a way of allowing us to share with each other, to share the good times, to share the simchas, to share the grief, and to share the worry. So thank you for being out here tonight. We often say what's unique about the JCC is you come for the show and you stay for the schmooze. Right? A lot of great places have a lot of great shows, a lot of great performers. We have the best. I'm a little biased. But we come for the show, we stay for the schmooze. So hang around afterwards. This is going to be a great evening, very interactive. Our guests want to hear from you. So I know this is a shy group, so I'm going to try to pull it out of you. Recognize that this is an interactive evening. But before I introduce our speakers, I do want to mention that we're going to be doing some of this tonight in memory of a dear friend of Nas and Amitai. Zaki Jamal recently passed away, and he's an incredible social entrepreneur, young man in his 30s, passed away suddenly, friends with both Amitai and Nas, and he was just somebody so special that really epitomized everything that we've been trying to do here at the Oshman Family JCC with Z3. He intersected the tech and entrepreneurial worlds, but he really just built bridges, and he built bridges across communities, somebody really special. So we're going to talk a little bit about some of the stuff he did tonight. They're going to tell you a little bit about his important work. And all of this is going to be moderated by our incredible own Amy Albertson. Amy Albertson, yes, who works with Z3, a social media influencer herself. We love Amy. Amy, thank you for all that you do. Now let me tell you a little bit about our two guests here tonight. So Nuseir Yassin, known to 70 million people around the globe as Nas. Nas Daily, I've just heard he's nicknamed Nas from Nazareth. Maybe he could tell you the story if you're so lucky. But Nas comes to us tonight with this really deep, special belief that this global media platform he built is really out of just telling human stories, using honesty and crossing borders that way. And we're thrilled that he is here tonight with Aija Mayrock. She's an incredible Jewish content creator, grew up here in Santa Barbara, not so far, also has an awesome story. She has this series called Jews Around the World where she's taken audiences inside different Jewish communities all across continents, and she's been doing really special work as well. So we are thrilled that the two of them are going to be here in conversation with Amy. Why don't the three of you come on out right now? Please, Nas, Aija, Amy, thank you for being here tonight.
Thank you. It's on? We're on. Okay. Thank you so much, Zach, for a great intro as usual. Obviously, it's a big deal. We're here with some people who are a big deal, them, not me. And I do want to just start with, I know Zach mentioned Zaki, and I know he was a good friend of yours, so I just wanted to give you a little opportunity if you wanted to tell us a little bit about him, and yeah.
Yeah, first of all, hi everybody. Nice to meet you. Thank you so much for coming. What's today?
Today is Tuesday?
You came on a Tuesday, and you left work early. So raise your hand if you know a guy named Zaki Jamal. That name sounds very Muslim and Arab, but it's actually not. It's Jewish Israeli. Only 2 people. Okay, so I'm going to talk to the people that didn't know him. And we want this eulogy to be interesting for the people that didn't get the privilege to meet him. So I spent 19 years living in Israel. I had 0 Jewish friends, 0. I land into Harvard. Within 1 week, I make my first Jewish Israeli friend. He extends a hand and says, let's be friends. That person is Zaki. And he single-handedly changed my perception on Jewish Israelis forever, because he believed in me before I believed in myself. I was just a freshman year college, and he said, no, you're great. No, you can do this. Yeah, you came from the village in Israel next to Nazareth, but you can be a Harvard student and you're not worse than them. And I was like, you're Israeli, Jewish, you're not supposed to like me. And that is really the ideas I had growing up, unfortunately. Anyway, we've been friends for 15 years. He becomes my first investor in Nas Daily. He believed in me, he believed in my company, and he believed in my parents. He's the first Jewish Israeli to invite my parents to a Shabbat. My parents are 60 years old. They've never been to a Shabbat. His friend died in a suicide bomb attack. He could have been very right-wing. He chose to build bridges. He makes backgammon games in Jerusalem to bring Jews and Arabs together just to play for 1 hour. Who does that? And then he invested in hundreds of other startups and believed in them every single day. And you've also known him.
Yes, he's an incredible person who is the definition of someone that lives to bring people together. And I think his impact is seen in your life and in many lives and will continue to be seen.
So unfortunately, Zaki passed away last week from a sudden heart attack. He was 37, 38. But you know what they say, right? A man, you say.
I have a quote it's not my quote, but it's a quote I love, which is, a person dies twice, the moment they take their last breath and the moment their name is said for the last time. And so we hope to continue saying his name and telling his story.
Yeah. So let's make sure to remember the name. Thank you, guys.
Did you want to check out the vibe? So you all heard who Nas and Aija were with the introductions, but I think they're interested to know some more about you guys. Did you have some questions for them?
Yeah. So this is the first time I start a speech, I talk, and I get emotional. Sorry about that. Okay. Let's shift the vibes. Just Google the name and figure out who he is. Let's get to know you guys a little bit better. Just 4 minutes, if that's okay, Amy?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. We just love to know, who are we talking to? So if you could just raise your hand, scream, introduce yourself in 2 sentences. Who are you? Why are you here? Okay, stand up. Go ahead. You already stood up. How are you? Ah, Itzik. I can tell from the voice. Introduce yourself.
I am the head of the Pitot band. The Pitot band, it's an Israeli rock band. This is my main job.
Wow, you make money from the music band.
And I don't make money from it. But this is my job. I make money for making for you applications.
Nice to see you again. Okay, where's Alon? Alon Matas? Ah, there you go. Introduce yourself, my friend. Just scream. You are too humble. He started like BetterHelp. Do you guys know BetterHelp?
Oh.
Yeah, that's him. And now strawberry.me.
Okay, who else wants to share who they are? Yes, you.
My name is Olin Levy. I'm a sophomore at Granada High School in Livermore, and I just wanted to say that you've been very inspirational through like my entire life.
That is true. I've been doing this for a long time.
You've been inspirational. I started watching you through COVID, and my parents always sent me your videos, and I had to ask them to come here. They didn't force me to come here. I asked them.
Thank you, my friend. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Okay, who's next?
Oh, thank you. Actually, let's play this game. Raise your hand if you drove more than an hour to come here. Okay, how many hours? Okay, just over an hour? About an hour? An hour and a half? An hour. Okay, anybody more than an hour? Okay, there you go, an hour.
We drove an hour and a half.
We drove an hour and a half.
San Francisco
Ridiculous.
traffic is bad.
Okay, raise your hand if you're not Jewish. Wow, okay. And why are you here? Stand up, introduce yourself. Oh, cool.
Nice.
Welcome. Okay, go ahead, scream.
And now we're investing in startups and real estate in the Bay Area.
And what do you hope to get out of today's session?
Learn from the master.
What do you want to learn?
I don't know, I just love your natural way of presenting things, being human, authentic, humble. There's a lot to learn from you.
Great. Thank you. Thank you so much. Very kind. Thank you. Okay.
Great. Okay, so now we know a little bit more
Thank you,
about
everybody.
you, and now we're gonna get into it. I want to start from the beginning. We're gonna talk origin stories a little bit, so people can get. For those who don't know, a lot of people seem to already know, but for those who don't know, I want to start with you, Aija. So, my understanding is you started in what we might think as more traditional storytelling, poetry, and you wrote a book when you were 16. Why did you decide to become a social media influencer?
So, my name is Aija. I am from New York, and then I grew up in Santa Barbara. And I wrote a book when I was in high school because I used to be really, really badly bullied in school. I had speech impediments, learning disabilities, and I saw that there were so many young people around the world that were dealing with the same thing. So I wrote a book. It wound up becoming an international bestseller when I was 19. And then I kept going. I wrote another book that was poetry. I wrote a TV show. And then ultimately I realized that the fastest and the best way to get to people and change people's hearts and minds and make an impact was through social media. And so that led me to creating content, and specifically to creating content about Jewish communities all over the world and telling their stories.
That's really interesting, and we'll get more into the fastest way to change hearts and minds, and if that's actually true or not. And what about you, Nas? I know you worked in high tech, and then you kind of just were like, no more. I'm gonna make 1,000 videos in 1,000 days, and now you're here on this stage. What happened in between?
Okay, so now that we're friends, my name is No Sire, like yes sire, no sire, like no señor. And it's a very complicated name. Nas means people in Arabic. Raise your hand if you speak Arabic. Damn, shwai shwai. Of course, that means not. You said a few people?
Yeah, there was like 3.
There's 0. Raise your hand if you speak Arabic.
There's one over there.
Okay. Judeo-Arabic. What is that?
What is that?
Is it different than Muslim Arabic?
Yes.
That's a video.
Yeah.
That's a video idea. Like literally make that languages go viral. So my name is Nuseir. I grew up in Israel. I came to the US for college. I was very lucky to get a scholarship to Harvard. I could not afford it. Come from a middle class family, didn't go to international school. I went to an Arab school in Israel. Made my first gay friend, black friend, Jewish friend, Asian friend, female friend at Harvard. And I became a software engineer, worked at Venmo, hated my life. I was a terrible engineer, overpaid, underworked, which is like every American. It's a joke.
Everyone in Palo Alto.
Yeah, everyone in Palo Alto, that's correct. That's why I have an office in Singapore. So I had a bet on the future. I thought the future is going to be very video and very social media. This is before TikTok. I said, I think creating a video is much faster, as she said, to reach people and feel like you're expressing yourself. I left America, moved to Kenya, lost my visa, made 1,000 videos in 1,000 days, started this thing called Nas Daily, failed the first 271 days, and then day 271 blew up, and that's when many people discovered Nas Daily, grew it to a sizable size, and that's a thing. And I'm done with that in a way. It's like 50 people building a media company. My next bet is on technology, not as an engineer, as a CEO. Raised 40 million to build Nas.io. And so that's my next 10-year bet, is that everybody is going to be owning an internet business in the future because of AI. It's going to be much easier. And so that's all I think about today. How do I help people start a business and sell online, like Shopify, but simpler? And that's all I think about today.
Amazing. So let's not talk about what you think about all day. Let's talk about who you guys are. Let's get into identity and the nitty gritty, the juicy stuff, right? So both of you, you travel the world and you tell other people's stories, and you hold your own identities as well. So Nas, you enter spaces and people see you, you're
Nuseir, my friend.
yes, Nuseir. Okay, sorry. I don't know if I can promise you that I'll say that the whole time we're on stage. You're Israeli, you're Palestinian, you're Muslim, you're Arab. You carry, all these different titles and labels. In Asia, similarly, you're going to all these Jewish communities across cultures. How do people receive you, both separately and together, in these places, being who you are? And how does it maybe shape the content that comes out of that?
Do you want to start?
No, you start.
Well, my identity is a lot simpler. I'm a Jewish American. But I would say going into these different Jewish communities, whether it's in Tunisia or in India or in Azerbaijan, I am aware of my Jewishness in the most beautiful sense, in that I feel part of this web that we are all part of. I feel part of this peoplehood more strongly than anywhere else in the world. And even if I can't speak the language of the people that I'm meeting, or if I don't fully understand their version of Judaism, it's like we are one people. I would say the only time that I feel it really shows up in an interesting and complex way is in the way that other people perceive our relationship and think that it is a big thing. Like that our identities and our religions are a big thing in our relationship. And it's especially unique because we fell in love right after October 7th. So I think that's the only way that I've seen that identity kind of assumed to be a challenging thing, which it's not, and we can talk about it after.
Okay, we will get into the relationship in literally a minute, but I just want to see, Nas, if you have anything to add to that, or maybe from your own experience being in different places, telling other people's stories, like, does the interaction ever have an impact on how you're feeling about yourself, or what ends up coming out of?
So I say this all the time. I wish I was born in Denmark. Blonde hair, blue-eyed. Raise your hand if you're blonde hair, blue-eyed. I wish that was you guys. It's like the most non-hateable background. It's cool. Nobody hates a Danish or a Swedish or whatever, or Nordic. It's like, not true. Really? Who hates Denmark? Danish people. That is a funny way to say my identity has been a blessing and a curse. It has been a blessing in the sense that I get to be here. I get to talk about interesting, important things. It also has been a curse where people just pass judgment on me before anything, before knowing anything. And that's kind of annoying. And if you're Jewish, you probably get that feeling. I get that as an Israeli-Palestinian, which is not supposed to mix, but it does. I think the thing with Nas Daily is that when Nas Daily blew up on the internet, it was 2018, 2019, 2020. That's when it has like billions of people came online on their phone by downloading Facebook. Open Facebook, what do I see? Oh, a brown guy screaming. Let me follow. And literally what they thought. The thing is, that was the first time hundreds of millions of people in like Asia, the continent, Africa, North America, the Middle East, were exposed to an Israeli person. And when October 7th happened, or every time like a terrible event happened, they would all say, what's your opinion? What's your opinion? And so I found myself to becoming the representative of the Middle Eastern conflict without me asking for it. And I think it was humanizing that, oh, I know an Israeli guy and that's cool. I guess they're humans. Because a lot of times Egyptians did not actually get to meet any Israeli. But at the same time, it also meant if you don't agree with my political views, you're going to get really angry at Nas Daily. And my political views is, I'm Israeli, whether you like it or not. And I guess part of me enjoys telling people that just so that they can be confronted with it, even if it means like a lot of like pushback online.
Sure, I mean,
You don't have to. You don't have to. Thank you.
yeah, I actually wanted to ask you about a particular tweet that you made on October 8th on X. It got 9 million views and was reposted by 14,000 people. I don't know if you know that. And it was a pretty long tweet, but essentially you were talking about your identity and you talked about the struggle of kind of going back and forth and you ended it with, so from today forward, I view myself as Israeli-Palestinian. Israeli first, Palestinian second. Sometimes it takes a shock like this to see so clearly. A lot of people that maybe didn't know who you are in my sphere suddenly knew who you were, and I was saying, wow, that's a bold statement coming from Nas. I had been following your content for a long time. So I was just wondering if you can go a little deeper into, that thought process and how you ended up having this, I don't want to call it an epiphany, but this maybe change or like a new maybe era or something of how you felt about yourself.
Look, nobody likes a hypocrite. I think that's like the one thing I think universally is hated, a hypocrite. Somebody who benefits privately but opposes publicly. And I saw after October 7th the amount of immense benefit my parents were getting from security to freedom of speech, to the opportunity to make money, to the ability to travel. The benefit Nas Daily got from the Israeli passport was immense. Every 10 days, I was changing countries. So I think the one, and we actually will talk about this in the context of day-to-day life, hypocrisy, I'm very sensitive to it. So I think at some point, it would be hypocritical if I have all these benefits from being Israeli without standing up to it. And I'm not sure I was the only one. I think I was the only one with a microphone. But what I hope people understand is that there's 2 million people like me inside Israel who were confused for 75 years. Where do we belong? Are we part of the future state of Palestine? Are we part of Syria? Are we part of Israel? And are we traitors if we're part of Israel or not? I think a lot of them, at least 50% of them, had a quiet epiphany. The only reason they did not discuss it publicly is because if they did, they would lose their life because of fear. I'm very lucky to have my life and have the resources to be able to speak freely. So I'm the only one who's loud, but I want people to understand I come from a community where if you're loud, you get shut down very fast. I say this all the time. 2 Jews, 3 opinions. 2 million Arab Israelis, 1 opinion. Because if you have a dissenting opinion, it's not halal. And so I want people to know that there's a lot of different opinions about Israel. I just happen to be the one that expressed it publicly. I view Israel's future as a future of all people. It's a Jewish state, sure, but I see the 2 million Arab Israelis as an integral part of this. My dream is to see Arab Israelis build a startup, become ministers, join the government. For me, that's a successful Israel. And I'm not here to just be for Arab Israelis, also Ethiopian Jews. Raise your hand if you're Ethiopian Jewish. Like, those also deserve a spot in Israel. So that's generally part of my 20-year vision for Israel, and it all starts with a tweet.
Are you running for prime minister?
Oh, no, I'm not running.
Okay, I'm just really processing that. That was beautiful. That was great. So let's get to it because I know everyone here wants to know. Let's talk about your relationship.
You gonna tell them?
So again, let's start from the beginning. Do you have a meet cute story? How did you meet? You said you fell in love, I don't want to say ironically, but interestingly, right after October 7th. And yeah, everyone's like, oh, this Jewish girl and this Muslim guy, particularly an Israeli Muslim guy, are now in this relationship. It's also very public. How did this happen?
Asia, how did this happen?
I have no idea.
What are you doing with your life?
No. We were set up by a mutual friend. Yeah, 2 weeks before October 7th. And I thought that it was just like a friendship meeting, and he thought it was a date. And we had dinner. And then we hosted a Shabbat the next day, and we just kept hanging out as friends, like purely as friends. And then 2 weeks later, October 7th happened. And he was coming to New York the day the tweet went viral. And actually, I remember this so well because I think you posted that tweet on the plane.
On the plane to see you.
Which makes some sense because I think there's like less oxygen going to your brain on the plane. So it made you very bold. And he sat down at lunch for our date.
That's true.
No, it is true. He sat down at lunch for our date and his phone was blowing up. And his dad was calling, screaming at him. Everyone was freaking out. Your world was burning. And we just like had our date. And
But I was so focused on our
he was very focused, and it was like the whole world just went silent for a bit as the business and everything was crumbling from this tweet for a brief period of time. And then from there, yeah, we kept hanging out. And
But people need to understand, on October 9th, her and I sat down at Le Botaniste, if anybody knows, a vegan place, incredible.
in New York,
And when we talked, it's as if the world stopped. And for me, that was a sign. Because even when the whole world was dividing, for some reason, I found this girl and me with completely different backgrounds agreeing on where the future should go. Not on where we are today. I mean, it was a shithole that day, but on where the future is going. And I was like, our values seem to match. We should double down on this. Double click, as VCs say.
no, but I remember that you were the only person that I wanted to talk to during that period. I was actually on the Columbia campus. I was getting my MBA at Columbia, and I remember the only person I wanted to talk to was you because from the day after October 7th, Nuseir already had a vision of where he thought he could rebuild and bring people together in the new world. And I'd never met anyone with that kind of mindset, and it was also my dream and the way that I looked at the world. So I think that instantly brought us together.
Yeah, and let's talk about the elephant in the room. What are the problems that we have? Do you want to know about them? It's like, yes. Anybody here a therapist? Raise your hand. One therapist? Actually, any therapist? Like, wow, no therapist. Or they're very shy. Yeah, they're a therapist right there.
From the first date.
How do you know that? Wow, he watched the video. So we started therapy on the first date. But
Not the first date.
Not the first date.
Very early, too early.
So, interestingly enough, none of our problems are because of our backgrounds. None of them.
That's really interesting because I was gonna ask, like, when you were growing up, you said you never met a Jewish person, you never had a Jewish friend, you never had a female friend, all these things. And did you ever, and I don't know about you, Asia, as well, like, did you ever envision yourself coming from where you came from to being
Dating a village boy?
Yes, to dating. No, that you would be dating, as a Jewish person, that you would be dating someday a Palestinian or an Arab, and you the same, that you would be ending up in love with a Jewish girl.
Well, he's the first Palestinian I ever met. No, but I mean, I grew up in a very like international household, and my parent and so I was around a lot of different kinds of people all the time. I lived in China very briefly when I was a kid.
That's why she's called Asia.
That's why, yeah, I'm literally named after the continent of Asia, just different spelling. But I will say I was incredibly terrified to tell my parents that we were dating because I had preconceived notions that they would not be accepting of it because of the timing and, all of that. And it was so scary, but it proved me so wrong because when I ultimately did tell my parents, they were so accepting and they were so excited and they love him so much.
Did they know who he was from the internet?
No.
Okay. I had to ask.
Actually, that created a little bit more issues than the religion.
They didn't like.
It's okay. We don't have to talk about it. But you can probably guess. No, but I think that sometimes we overcomplicate these things. We are very lucky. Some families would not be accepting of it. And we did experience people being really hateful and some people not wanting to be my friend or whatever. But but my family was so open to it and so excited about it, and we got very, very lucky, and his family as well.
When I told my parents I'm dating a Jewish American girl, they were like, awesome. You know, because my mom is the kind of mom, I think people ask, where do you have this tolerance and bringing people together? It comes from the parents. It's always from the parents. God damn it, if you have any concerns, just look at the parents. And my parents have never, you know, exhibited any form of extremism about anything. My dad is like middle ground, you know, and that's the balanced, tolerant side that I think I took from him, and the hot-headedness I took from my mom. But for them, it's a great thing. My mom has a menorah in the house. She has a cross in the house and a crescent in the house. And she's very religious. Her dream is to go to Mecca. She prays 5 times a day for 30 years. So what I want people not to confuse is religiosity with extremism in any religion. I'm like a big proponent. Oh, a very religious person clap. But we are big proponents of religion. We're not here to fight it. I've actually studied all 6 religions like a year or 2 ago. Our problems have nothing to do with that because we have chosen not to be deeply religious and follow the book exactly what it says. You know, our problems come from day-to-day mundane stuff. Maybe something cultural where it's like, okay, Ashkenazi Jewish culture versus hot-headedness in the Middle East. You know, cold, hot. I'm sure you guys know about.
No, but that is true. I think that I was very surprised that religion was really not a factor. And again, it does have to do with the fact that we are not, you know, religious people. We have agreed on different ways that we want to live our life. But yeah, culture turned out to be a little bit more of a complicated thing.
Culture is the complication, not religion.
Yeah. Interesting. So forgive me for this Jewish mom moment I'm going to have, even though I'm not a Jewish mom yet. Have you thought about things like, if you choose to have children, will you raise them in one or the other or combined? I'm sure your religious mom would probably want your kids to experience a lot of Muslim things and, you know, Shabbat dinners, all of this.
Please go ahead. They're your babies.
So they will, okay, it'll be a bit of a confusing identity, but they'll be Jewish, and they will be essentially like Arab Ashkenazi Jews. So I think they haven't really existed before, but I'm Ashkenazi, he's Arab, and they'll be Jewish, and it'll be a very unique identity.
But this is a real question, by the way,
Yes,
and I understand the concern. And so I just want everybody to understand, we're not here saying everybody should intermarry and forget your roots. Absolutely not. You know, we actually have a contract that I wrote. And in the contract...
For Valentine's Day, the first year we were together.
And in the contract, I think Section 5 says...
Section 5.
You know, we agree that the kids will be Jewish, period. And I have absolutely no problem with it.
But that was something that was very, very important to me because I'm very proud of my identity and something that, even though I'm not religious, is very, you know, a big part of who I am. But I think if it didn't matter to me, they would probably be kind of a-religious in your world.
If it didn't matter to you, most likely they'll be a-religious. I think what we both like is the community aspect of Judaism, which is incredibly unique. The idea of belonging from day zero, the idea of Chavruta, Tikkun Olam, Shabbat, Bar Mitzvah, or Bat Mitzvah. All these things I think we're fans of. I'm a fan of. I'm not going to speak on your behalf. But also, you know, continuing your DNA.
No, I mean, for me, you know, I do a lot of content about Jewish communities now, but for most of my life, I was a self-hating Jew, actually. And I really struggled with my identity a lot. And I never told anyone I was Jewish. The fact that I would make Jewish content, like that thought would be insane. And so as I've come to learn more about my identity, become very proud and dive deep into it, the idea of continuing this peoplehood and whether it be religious or not, instilling those traditions is really, really important to me.
That's interesting. And what do you think when did that change? Was there a pinnacle moment of some sort, or what happened in your life that kind of made you come to the other side?
So I have a lot of thoughts on this. I think that the way that we raise Jews in America is really bad. Oh, wow.
Whoa, controversial.
So I was just telling my mom this the other day because I was like, Mom, we got to like talk to my brother in a slightly different way. at least where I grew up in New York, and I mean, Santa Barbara doesn't have any Jews, but in New York, it was like all of like the tragedy and the doomsday and the Holocaust and just all bad things. What person would want to be part of that culture? Like, you're born into this, you can't change it, it's gonna be bad, and they're gonna come for you one day. And like, it's awful. And so I think I heard a lot of that growing up, and I was like, yeah, I don't want to be a part of that. I'm gonna like go really far away. And the other part of it is that it's very different, obviously, in Israel, but in America, I find that, you know, including in my own family, there was a lot of conversation around don't tell people you're Jewish. So it's this combination of like concealing your identity as well as, you know, just only showing the heaviness, not the joy and the light. And so, to be honest with you, the turning point for me was I was part of very, very leftist groups in college, and I was part of like, you know, very activism groups, and then suddenly in May 2021, they all turned on me. And I hadn't even posted anything about Israel or anything.
That was the Sheikh Jarrah thing, right?
Exactly. And I was like,
They
wait,
turned on me too.
no, not surprised.
And I was raising donations for
I
it.
remember you told me. And I realized that like that idea of they're still going to come for you because of your identity is very true. So I started going really deep into, okay, what does it mean to be a Jew and what is my identity? And it started with, I would bring Shabbat dinner to Holocaust survivors in Brooklyn every week, and I would just sit and listen to their stories. And I did that for 3 years, and every Friday, that changed my entire life, my entire view of who I am. And then I started the Jews Around the World stuff, and from there, it's been a journey.
Wow, that's really beautiful.
But I hope you guys can see the depth of Aija. And that's why I chased her for 6 months to become my girlfriend. And full story is that she made a video about her bringing Holocaust food, food to Holocaust survivors.
English.
I'm sorry, it's my third language. Food to Holocaust survivors in Brooklyn. And when I saw that video, when my friend introduced me to her, I said, this girl has depth. And that's the reason I chased her. It's that video.
I'm glad.
That's amazing. I know that video as well. Okay, so speaking of videos, I need to ask you, because you work in AI, you said you made a video that I watched the other day that you went all in on AI in 3 areas of your life, one of which was your relationship, and you said that you do couples therapy using AI. Can you explain, does this work? Whose ChatGPT are you using? Because we all know that our own ChatGPT likes us more than the other person.
Well, she used it today, so maybe you should answer this question.
Honestly, today it was really helpful. If it works, come back to us in 10 years and, you know, we'll see if it worked. But no, I mean,
Any investors here?
I think that it can be very helpful as like a supplement to, you know, traditional therapy, and to also take everything with a grain of salt. But I think because, you know, AI knows so much about us, it can be really helpful to provide like another perspective or kind of like zoom out a little bit. There's also times where it's like, I'm right and you're right, so I don't know.
Yeah. That being said, we also are big fans of human therapy. In the first day of our official relationship, we started therapy. We do it every week. We were just in the same
Therapist still?
Yeah, same therapist. He's incredible.
No, this was like kind of crazy. It was like the first day of our relationship, and he goes, by the way, I want to have therapy with you. And I was like, what? What have I just signed up for? And so we go on with this therapist, and it was just like too much too soon. The therapist was like, so one day, who's going to get up when the kid is screaming? And I was like, oh my God. It was a little crazy.
Right, but I've kind of like, I wanted this relationship to start at the right leg, like with the right leg, whatever.
Yeah, the intention was
Best
great.
leg forward.
Sure.
And so every week, whenever we have problems, we just offload it on the therapist. And we get a third context. And I'm actually shocked by the number of people that go on for years, build up so much in their fuel tank of resentment, anger, frustration, not being seen. And then they have therapy after 10 years. And that therapy is going to be disastrous. Disastrous. So at least now, let's say we have like one good therapy session, one not so good, two very good, you know. But it's good to offload some of that feelings.
And is your therapist Jewish or Muslim?
So we actually So I had this therapist before I met her, but I specifically wanted an Israeli therapist. He happens to be Jewish. I want him to be a guy as well to relate to me. But this is before I met
Yeah,
you.
what about me?
Well, this is before I met you. Find your own therapist.
Okay. Okay. So I know we could probably talk about your relationship all day, but people here are very interested in your content, your storytelling, and all of this. And I see, obviously, you have a lot to say, but a lot of the videos that you make and social media tends to favor short, concise, succinct content. How do you distill often very complicated, nuanced things into effective, short content?
I have a controversial view on this.
Yes, please.
I don't think this will get claps at all. I think life is like what is it, a rapper?
I don't know.
You know that thing?
A rubber band?
Rubber band. Life is like a rubber band. It can get as, it can get as like complexity. You can make it as big as you want or as small as you want. It's the same goddamn rubber band. And I really think that they say in Arabic, كبرها بتكبر صغرها بتصغر. Okay? Make it bigger, it becomes bigger. Make it smaller, it becomes smaller. And that's also, I think, about many topics around the world. There's this desire, this human desire to make everything so nuanced, complicated. Well, what about the history? What if we go back 70 years, 500 years, 3,000 years? There's, and you can drown in a sea of complexity, or you can simplify things to their essence. And so it is my belief that most things in life can actually be simplified to like a 2-3 minute video. That's why I said it's a controversial opinion, because you will not agree with it. Now, but I'm saying is simplify the essence, not make a 2-3 minute videos of why we should love Israel or 2-3 minute videos of why we should hate Israel. But what is the essence of what you're trying to do? And so that has been the Nas Daily formula. What is the one most important thing about this topic or this country or this conflict? And that's what the Nas Daily video becomes about. I see you disagree.
So I do disagree.
gonna say.
I mean, I create similar content, right? And my content has become more simplified, and it does work. That being said, I look at people that I love watching who aren't going to get the same amount of views as, say, Nas Daily videos, but have very complex stuff. And the people they reach are, a different type of demographic. So I think of Lex Friedman podcasts. I love Lex Friedman, and it will never get as many views as you get, but it will be able to go so much more into the details. It's something actually that I want to work on this year, is to zoom out a bit and be a bit more nuanced, because I think, for example, I just went to Mexico and I did a video on the Jews of Mexico. Now, the video that you'll see, I hope will go viral and do really well, and it will talk about the Arab Jews of Mexico. But the truth that I didn't put in the video is that there's a Syrian community there that had so much internal division that there's one group from Aleppo, one group from Damascus. They don't get along, they don't talk to each other. And it's so interesting and so nuanced, but it's not going to do well on social media. And so I weigh, what do I want? I want to reach people and tell these stories and have them be seen. And so I'm willing to make that trade-off there. But I do want to find a way to go more into that nuance, because I think it's a really important part of the story.
But I'm going to disagree in return. Okay, we're having a nice chavruta here. Why I disagree with this is when you create content, you're not forcing people. When you make deep content and you want to make the masses consume it, it's like forcing a fish to climb a tree.
No, because it's the algorithm.
Well, the algorithm is human interest. The human doesn't. The human shapes the algorithm. The algorithm, responds to whatever the human clicks on or watches. That's why you see scammy guys with a lot of feed of crypto and models, and religious guys. You see a lot of feed of rabbis and sheikhs, right? The algorithm is a response to your interest. And the truth of the matter is, my interest in a topic, let's say the Jews of India, which she made a video about. Raise your hand if you saw the Jews of India video she made. Nice, got a few. It's one video, very good. My interest in that topic is max 5 minutes, and so it's going to be very difficult for me to watch a 3-hour podcast about it. We're all interested in the world, but no more than 5 minutes. And then we choose a profession and we're interested in it for 30 years. But it's hard to expect people to be interested in every topic 3 hours at a time.
No, but it doesn't need to be 3 hours. It doesn't need to be that length. But I mean, there's a reason why, okay, you say that you much prefer your X algorithm than your Instagram one because things are weighted differently. And so maybe some of the things that you find interesting are not weighted that way.
True, but every X thing that I like is like literally 200 characters. It's still very short and not very in depth. You know, what I'm trying to say is our role, sorry, Amy, our role is to spark interest, not to get you an MBA degree in a topic. And so if we're able
There's
to...
something in between.
What
You're
is it
going to
called? It's called a
extremes.
bachelor's degree.
I think that's an interesting way to put it. And we're getting close to time here, but I want to ask you because I get asked this all the time as a social media creator, albeit very much smaller than either of you. Is it working? You know, people say that this is the third front of the war, the online war. Do you think that influencers, social media, this type of digital storytelling, condensing things to be very short to meet people's attention span is working, is having a positive effect?
You cannot make a fish climb a tree. So this is the world we live in. I did not create the world, and you did not either. We are operating in the confines of the world, which is we happen to have a population of 8 billion humans who just love to scroll and see things, and we have very low attention span. So that's the constraints. Do you want to play this game or not? It's a really simple question. We have decided to play this game, so we have to play within the constraints. And the people that have succeeded so far on social media are the ones that are actually pushing anti-Jewish, anti-Israel narratives because it's so easy to destroy in a second. Building takes years. Destruction takes seconds. So if I want to destroy a group of people, and which we can, we just choose not to, it just takes one video to say, wow, this person from this group of people committed fraud, therefore I don't like anybody else. Or don't visit this country because I got stolen, my laptop was stolen there, right? But building takes many, many videos over many, many years. We have chosen the hard game of creating content that builds. You'll never see a Nas Daily or Aija Mayrock video that makes you hate someone or something. But we have to recognize that this takes years just because it's in the nature of building. Thank you.
Amazing. So I think if it's okay with you, we're going to open it up to some audience questions. If you want to just raise your hand, then someone will bring you a microphone.
Wait, you don't disagree, right? You disagree? Or?
No, I disagree. I mean, sorry. No, I agree.
Oh.
Sorry.
Nuseir and Aija, I would like to ask you, how do we
Stand up.
How do we prevent raising the least discerning, most influenced next generation?
How do we prevent raising the least discerning, most influenced next generation? It's a very good question. We are not parents, so.
I have a controversial opinion. You buy TikTok, which just happened. I truly believe in that. We didn't talk about the influence of the people controlling the algorithm, which I believe is a real thing. I've uploaded the same video across many different platforms. And, you know, if it's pro-Judaism, not even Israel, it like goes viral on Meta, doesn't do well on, let's say, TikTok. If it's anti-Israel, which I haven't actually made that video, but I see it goes really viral on TikTok. So I think there is a concept of, you got to understand, like, is there somebody controlling the algorithm behind? And I'm assuming no one is. But I think in some platforms, there is somebody doing that. So I think it starts with that. I think number two, it starts with, just don't. I think maybe when we become parents, I don't know how we're going to do this, but, when I feel lazy, I can just throw the YouTube to the kid and just watch anything you want. Just don't annoy me because I'm working. And I think lazy parenting that I may do or may not do may result in that happening. And I think active parenting is follow this channel, don't follow this channel.
I think again, I'm not a parent, but I can only assume that maybe taking them out of social media and out of the bubble of where they live and exposing them to as many different types of people in the world is the best way. That's how my dad, he worked all over the world and he tried to take us and show us different people and to show us that there is no bad human, and that when you meet someone face to face, these biases and prejudices go away. And I really believe that's what made me the kind of person I am, and I think what would make the most whole human beings.
Thank you.
I've got a question, which is kind of funny. I'll try and explain it. You, as social influencers, your matara, your
Goal.
target. Thank you. Sorry, your target is to get people to watch you, right? And by getting more people to like you, then you get more ticks, more money, more whatever. But I heard from what Asya was saying at some stage, that she kind of maybe targets her videos to get more people to like her. So you've got this kind of dichotomy between the things that you're trying to say and getting more people to like you, but you want them to like you. So how do I believe in you rather than you're trying to cause me to like you, so I...
That's
a great
Wow,
question.
that was awesome.
Wow.
I just want to answer quickly and clarify something. So with my Jews around the world videos, there's a lot of things I don't put in. And the reason is because, one, I don't want to create more anti-Semitism. And two, I want to protect the safety and respect the community, because they welcome me in, so I don't want to make them look bad. So in that example I gave, yes, I say I didn't put it in because of reaching people, but yeah, also because of that. I would say, though, on a broader level, it's really hard. I think that both of us try, and I don't want to speak for you, but I think both of us try to always say exactly how we feel, but maybe package it in a way that is a little bit more positive or a little bit more unifying, so that it doesn't, inherently spread a negative message or perpetuate hate. But I think it's a constant balance for every single video.
So I said previously that you choose the algorithm. You make the algorithm, right? As a user, as an end user, like if you interact a lot with war content, you see more war content. If you interact more with not so good content, you just see that, right? But what I didn't say is that for the creator side, the person making the content, you become the algorithm. You become the algorithm without you knowing. And this happened to me. I'm not here to preach that I'm not that. It happened to me for the span of 3 years in the sustainability space, specifically. There was a moment where I made a video about, there's no plastic straws in Peru. That's cool. And I made a video about that. The video went so viral. And I was like, okay. Let me make another sustainability video. Let's save the turtles with this plastic solution. Or let's do this with this, whatever. And then I found myself making a lot of sustainability content to the point where I was like, this will do well, but I don't believe in its efficacy. And I became that. I became the algorithm. Okay, sustainability is hot, let's go. I was able to break that vicious cycle when I made enough money. We're all transparent here. When I made enough money and I divested from social media, I was able to say whatever the hell I want. Because no real businessman would ever tweet, I'm an Israeli Palestinian as of today, on October 9th or 8th. No sane human would ever do it. And you see it actually in the Arab creators. The Arab creators have 100% of their followers to be Arab because they're speaking Arabic. There is one narrative about Israel. So even if the creator personally is okay with Israel, publicly they have to say they hate Israel, because that is the only opinion you can have on the internet, because otherwise the algorithm would destroy you. So you become the algorithm. And then I've seen the cycle of Arab creators just becoming anti-Israel because you cannot not be. You lose 100% of your audience, okay? So now I'm extremely lucky where social media is less than 10% of my revenue. Middle East social media is less than 1% of my revenue. So I could say whatever the hell I want. My focus now is not on getting followers and subscribers. I'm done with that. My focus is getting Nas.io subscribers. And so I want people to build a business on top of my platform. I've raised the money. That's all I think about. So I have another problem now. I will never say anything controversial in the entrepreneurship space. You always have that incentive balance.
But I think at the end of the day, you have created what you've created because of being controversial. And so I think that that balance is something you're going to have to reckon with because ultimately, if you also don't say something controversial, you don't break through and then you become irrelevant. So it's a hamster wheel.
But so many people became relevant from October 7th by
Yeah, but then they have to reinvent. They have to put they have to challenge something or they have to do something more bold. I mean, ultimately, like the attention span of
yeah.
the
But do you
masses
think
is
it's
very small.
bold to scream like, you know, whatever like opinion? It's not bold if you know for a fact that 100% of your audience will support you.
Right, but I mean, as you know, with social media, to get a viral video, you have to reach like 98% non-audience. So it's still bold because you're reaching people that hate you.
Okay, great. Yeah, another question.
We
Sorry.
can talk about.
Take it to therapy.
Sorry, Amy.
She said, take it to therapy.
Do you perform in front of Muslims communities as well? And what do you think about it, how it goes?
So it depends on the country, not on the religion. So you happen to have only like one Jewish state, great. Jewish people, Israel, okay, great. But it's actually a little bit more complicated than that when you call it Muslim audience or Muslim countries, right? Muslim Indians love Nas Daily. Muslim Emiratis love Nas Daily. Some Muslim Saudi Arabians love Nas Daily. Muslim Egyptians hate Nas Daily. I don't perform there. I don't visit there. I don't travel there. I don't want anything to do with there. So as we talked about, most problems are not actually religion-based, they're culture-based. And so the real question should be, do you perform in cultures that are inherently anti-Israel or anti-Semitic? And the answer is no. Muslim Americans, interesting group of people. But you know but even Muslim Americans, right? Our neighbor, the Bangladeshi guy from New York, he's Muslim. He loves Nas Daily. Muslim Americans, at the same time, go back to their roots. Like I don't think they've assimilated as much as we like to think. And so a Muslim Bangladeshi in America loves Nas Daily, a Muslim Indian, same thing. But I don't think a Muslim Egyptian in America is.
This is not always true, though. I think that when you talk about culture, it's even down to the culture of a neighborhood you live in or a school that you go to, right? So, like, I mean, there are plenty of people that, like, you have an engineer. One of your best engineers is a guy from Gaza.
He's great.
And he's part of a culture that is, you know, super open-minded, and it's an amazing experience, right? So I think it's too oversimplified to just say in mass Muslim Americans.
That's true. In private, people have different opinions, and in private, many people in the Middle East are gay. Okay, but when it comes to speaking in public in front of a group of people, that's too public.
I think what I've seen is that a lot of people would not want to be seen at an event with him
Yes.
that are Muslim, or would be in a photo and things like that, and that is unfortunate.
It's unfortunate, but I kind of like it. It means you're relevant.
Yeah.
Eitzek, make it count.
I wanted to ask you about how do you see the future of AI content creation? Because I see some of the AI content creators that I follow, they started to do like AI videos like they talk and not themselves. How do you see the space in the future?
I am so excited by it. You have no idea how excited I am by it. And let me try to give you on my side, because I assume some people don't like AI, even though in Palo Alto, by the way, I was saying, you don't love AI? Oh yeah, I say yeah. But I think some people, maybe it's an age thing versus a location thing.
It's nuanced.
Thing. Why did Nas Daily and Aija Mayrock succeed at content creation online? Because we are the right age. We're not ugly. I'm not ugly. She's gorgeous. We speak well. We know English. We're healthy. We can travel. We have a big like a good passport. Now that's 1% of the world. And so 99% of the world, if you're like a 16-year-old kid in India with an Indian accent, it is virtually impossible for you to reach audience in Palo Alto. Ain't nobody that's not Indian is following a content creator in India. So content has always been reserved for the top 1% and has been very siloed. Hebrew content, Hebrew audience. Indian content, Indian audience. You know? AI breaks that barrier. For the first time ever, a 16-year-old kid in India can make an AI video about something political in the United States and get attention. That's scary, but also exciting. Like, let's look at the glass 30% full. Okay? Now, if anybody can make content just with a prompt, what can you do? You can build a channel and compete with us. You should do it. You can create ads and sell your products and build a business online and make money and retire your parents. I'm super excited by the enablement of AI in the world of content, specifically in content creation for social media and AI for acquisition of customers. And that's literally why I'm giving up on Nas Daily to build Nas.io, because I think it's going to enable a whole new type of entrepreneur that finds customer, builds products, does customer service using AI tools, and makes money online from a village in India. That's cool.
Okay, I think we have time for one more question.
How do you stay creative and avoid burnout when you're constantly producing content?
But I think we don't constantly produce content in that we're not showing all parts of our life all the time, right? Like, and we don't really show in real time, or we're not showing like the most personal things. We both script our content and we have like an idea of when we're gonna shoot and how we're gonna shoot it. And I think that really, really helps because you have separation between what you're creating and like the rest of your life. And so I think for me at least, it keeps it really fun and really exciting without feeling like too intimate or too exhausted. I mean, it can be very exhausting, but like at least when I'm like going to sleep, no one's seeing that.
In other words, she's saying do not become a vlogger.
Yes, don't become a vlogger.
Vloggers, for those that don't know, shoot their entire life and turn it into a 20-minute video. Come with me as I go to the beach in Mexico.
And I think that's exhausting, like so exhausting.
Yeah, so we don't do that. We just say, okay, let's make this 2-minute video about this specific topic where we can learn something. Once you finish shooting, the camera's off.
Great. I think that's time. Obviously, it's such a pleasure. We could be here all day talking. I'm sure everyone has many more questions for you. Thank you so much, Aija and Nuseir.
Nuseir.
Nuseir. See, I told you.
Thank you, Amy.
For being here.
You're great, by the way.
Most
Thank you.
Israelis say Ima, because the way I spell my name in Hebrew. But anyway.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Yeah, cool. But no, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for coming to Palo Alto, the center of the world. And I hope you enjoy your time here. And yeah, let's give it up for Nas and
Thank you. Take a picture.